and a big welcome to you all, and especially big welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing. Well, today I'm taking you on a walk to my local supermarket at the top of the road, and there seems to be a theme going on this walk. Pineapples. Now, these are not the first pineapples I've seen, and as you can see here, they are not the last pineapples either. It just seems to be something in the air with these pineapples. Now, I've had a good look along here for some inspiration, actually. This is what my walk was partly about. Thinking of fruit, and obviously the pineapples that I've just passed along the walk, the white ones, that I found those very inspiring. Not so much the packet pineapples, but these gorgeous fresh pineapples. Just look at the skins on these, and almost suggesting patchwork. Now, we're still working with our scraps, so please don't buy anything, but I'm guessing we could use this as inspiration with some patchwork. Now, I did buy a pineapple, and here it is now safely at home on my counter, so I'm not using that. Now, this one is from Pixels. If you haven't got access to a pineapple, have a look at Pixels. And this is a freebie as well. Just Google free pineapples pictures. Well, this is the fabric that I've sorted out, and I didn't really have to go far to look for it. Jackie, I think you sent this to me because it's in an envelope with your name and address on it and other bits and pieces, and I had it in a place where I put special stuff, so I'm guessing you sent this to me, and there's a whole lot more here. I have actually used it on some other projects which haven't published. They were for sale, so these are pieces that I have left over. Now, I've managed to cut these into strips, and I've got more strips behind me in my workbox. Now, I'm going to do the pineapple in what I consider pineapple colours, the orange and brown and little bits of greens and yellows. And your fabric, Jackie, it just screams out pineapple, although the prints on this one is actually chrysanthemums. And so, anyway, I'm still going to use it. So I'm going to concentrate on the pineapple for a while. And while I do that, I'm going to think about the background. It isn't like I've gone out to buy them. Obviously, Jackie's donated these to me. She gifted them, and such a beautiful present. So I'm using them, and I can't call them scraps because they're too beautiful. Let's just say they're small pieces that I'm going to use. I haven't bought them, so let's see how this works out. Don't intend to buy spend any money on this. Everything I need, I think, so far in my head, stuff I've got. I have pressed these open or flat because they were all very sort of crinkly up where I've used them and put them. But I suppose actually these could be scraps because I've used the main body, haven't I? I've used the main pieces. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of these, and fortunately a lot of them, I mean, I think these at the moment are too thin to use on my pineapple, but we'll see. These are a godsend because that is about the size, the width that I want them. Look at this. Brilliant stuff, isn't it? I've ironed them, cut them and iron them. Now I'm going to do this by hand. So right sides to right side. Now, normally for this type of thing, I would actually put some interfacing on them, but I'm not doing that at this stage. I'm going to do it at the end because it will make it easier to work on without the interface. And why I say that is because there's going to be so many seams in this pineapple that I don't want the bulk of an additional bulk and the seams of interfacing at this stage. Right, so I hope that makes sense. Right, nice needle, suit your hand, not too thin, not too thick. Lovely big eye for the thread. And for this, excuse me, I'm using 2 strands of embroidery thread. Oh no, I'm not. I'm actually using 3. Goodness, I thought I'd stranded that into 2. Well, no, it's 3, but that's okay. So I'm going to start here and do a back stitch. Little back stitch here just to lock it. Come out at the same hole that I've gone in, and then I'm just going to do a little running stitch, and there we have that one. So the next one will go here, and I will do the same. Right sides together. You can pin it if you feel happy pinning it, but you don't have to. And then do exactly the same. And this is just how I'm going to carry on until I get the required amount of strips that I think I need. Right, here it is. This is as big as I'm going to make it. I'll just move it slightly and maybe you can see the whole thing. I'll move it up there. There we go. That'll give you an idea of how it is actually looking. I'm really pleased with those. So these, if you wanted to do the same size piece, I've got 21 strips here, and they measure approximately 3 centimeters wide. This was 3 centimeters wide by 24 centimeters long, and they were all the same size. Having said that, this one here looks like a rogue one. Looks like this one slipped in. I've decided now, because it's all hand sewn and I'm going to cut through this in lines, the hand sewing is likely to come undone. At this point I'm going to put the interfacing on, and that will stop the stitches undoing when I cut them. The glue will inhibit the stitches from unraveling, we hope. Okay, so that's the back. You can see the back here and all the hand sewing, and it didn't take any time at all. It was something nice just to sit, did it in the quiet, just sat and thought about it, and it was just lovely. So now I'm going to use a thick interfacing. Not really by choice, but because I can't find the lightweight or the medium, and actually this is medium. I can't find the lightweight one, so I'm going to use the medium, but as I said, by choice I would use a lightweight one. I'm going to place that over like that. Don't forget, if you're new to using this, it's the shiny side with the glue. So shiny side down on the back. Now I've pressed all these flat, although those are sticking up, so they should all be lying down. I'm not been too worried about which way they're facing. No one is going to see that. And then I'm just going to press it.
I'm off.
Okay, sweetheart, mind you go, love.
Put some will. Do you want me to 3D print a little insert for your soap dish so it doesn't get the soap doesn't stand in water?
Well, if you want to, love, don't go to any trouble.
It's no trouble. I'll be interested in experiment.
Okay, baby. Do you want to see my experiment? It's like makings of my pineapple. Jackie Galloway gave me this fabric.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, you're recording, aren't
Yeah.
Sam. I'm not going to put my hands under there.
You just say hello, Jackie.
Got a voice I don't know where.
Good, say hello, Jackie.
Hello, Jackie. It's Glenn here. How are you today?
Like the fabric. Do you like the fabric, Glenn?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Can you make me a shirt like that?
No, because you'd wear it, wouldn't you?
I would.
Go on, off you go.
You have to stitch me. I'll be all sewn up.
Okay, lovely. All right, I'll see you later, bye.
Yeah,
Don't forget the shopping.
my bag. I don't know where my black bag is.
Okay. Okay, lovely. See you later, Pet.
Pure Yorkshire. The fictional capital bank.
Yeah, not going to do much without your wallet. Go away. Oh, just go, baby. Just go. Right. So, whether I'll keep that bit in, I don't know. But this is done. All done. And I will not be making Glenn a shirt out of this. I know we're going to Spain and, you know, loud and Larry, bright and beautiful go, but no. Right, so nicely secured down. Just going to take this little bit off here because that will drive me insane. There we go. Now I'm not doing any trimming, or am I? No. And I'm going to start this side because this seems to be the straightest side down here. And I'm going to take this. Oh, did I have one over? Hang on a minute. I've got a few. Yes, I did. I thought I did. There's one there. Now I want this roughly that size. Now, what did I say these were? 3 centimeters, wasn't it? Which is just over an inch. For those who haven't quite got used to metric or don't use it. Oh, now this one, oh gosh, is 3.5. Down to 3. Well, there we go. So perhaps that's why I didn't use that. Oh, perhaps I didn't notice. So put that there. Ah, this looks more like it. If I turn that over there, let's have a look. Yeah, 3. Down to 2.5. Good grief, what am I thinking of? Anyway, so I'm going to use that as a little bit of a template. I should cut it there. Turn it over. So I'm just going to neaten this off along here, and I'm going to do everything with pen for the time being. I'm going down here right the way down to the bottom, and what I'm aiming to do is draw sort of a grid. I need a straight line though to start with, so I'm hoping this, I'm just sort of eyeballing it. I don't know if I've got the right glasses on for this, but here we go. So I'm quite happy with that, I think. That should join up there. Lovely. Right, now I'm quite happy that that is a straight line. So what I'm going to do now, actually that doesn't look very straight from here. Hey ho, it doesn't matter a little bit. Right, let's just straighten that there. That's it. Let's have a look and see how thick that is. Oh, we have a result. We have a result here. That piece of fabric is the same width as the ruler. Let me have a look here. That's made it so much easier. So I'm just now going to do this all down the fabric. Alright, so I end up with some sort of grid. Just lines, well, not necessarily lines. I'm saying a grid because I can see the lines underneath. So I'll do this all the way across. The last one coming up. Here. Lovely. So there they are. There are all the lines. And now I'm going to cut them. Now I do have a wheel to cut them with, but I'd rather use scissors, to be honest. So I'm going to start here and cut all the way along these lines. So it was that one there, wasn't it? Right. Going to look like There we go. Let's have a look at the first one. Aha! So there's the first one. And it will go something like this. Or I might not even be too particular about placement. Right, so you get the idea. Alright, that actually looks like pineapple, the leaves on the top. Now I'm going to carry on and cut all these out, and I'll get back as soon as I've done that. I'm just coming to the end of the last one now, and as you can see on the screen, I'm cutting off the raggy bit at the end. Go right down, and there we go. Let's have a look at the raggy bit. Oh yeah, you see that raggy bit? Even that might be useful for something. So we'll put that over there, precious stuff. And let's have a look, see what we've got going on here. Right, so we have, right, we're going to have to move them around a bit, drop that down there. Yeah, I think I might just stagger, I think I'm going to stagger them actually. Yeah, we'll see how that pans out. It'd be nice not to have two of the same together. That wouldn't really matter, would it? And the last one, oops, the daisy, will be this one. Stagger that. Let's have a look. There we are, and that will be the background for the pineapple. Now the next thing I need to do is to join these. Now at this point, I mean I could still do it by hand. I'm very tempted to do them on the sewing machine just for quickness, and deliberately not watched and deliberately not match them up to see what happens. Yeah, this one obviously, yeah, it needs to be turned around. There we go. Yeah. Oh, that's so toughy, isn't it? If I do them by hand, I could do the little running stitch, or I can do them by sewing machine. Do you know what? I think I'm going to do them by sewing machine. Yeah, do it quickly by sewing machine. Because I'm anxious now to make a real start on it. Right, where's the sewing machine? Well, this only took a couple of minutes to do, not very long at all. Had I decided to do it by hand, I'd probably still be on the first row. As you can see, it's quite long. It's very long actually. And it's got a rough edge here where I've staggered some of the rows. That's no problem at all. Same there, no problem at all. I'm just going to flip it over so you can see what I've done. I have already pressed the seams flat. The seams are lying down flat. Now I need to find the center, so I'm going to match up the shortest one here. You see that? That's quite short, a lot shorter than the other, with the shortest row here, which is there. Okay, and then I'm going to mark it with a pen. Right, flip that over, and it's there. And I'm just going to cut right the way down there, right the way here. Well, some of it actually falls on a seam, so right here. Oh, that's tough going over there. And then I'm going to sew these together, so that gives me enough fabric for my pineapple. Let me make that smaller. You can can see that probably a bit better. So I will join it there. No, I think that needs to be at an end, doesn't it? Because it's short there. So I'll turn that round and I'll join it there, or even there, it doesn't matter. Staggering it. And then I will cut it so the edges are all even. Okay, let's get that round there. So I end up with a nice piece of fabric that's a nice, I mean, it doesn't really matter because by the time I get the pineapple shape on there, there's going to be quite a bit of this cut off. That is what it's looking like, and I think that's quite a nice effect. And I'm looking at that thinking of all the things I could do, but I'm committed now to doing a pineapple. But I was just playing around with it as I finished ironing it, and I thought, yeah, once again that would make a nice little folder or a little bag. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. Cut shapes out and applique some nice shapes on something. But anyway, no, I'm doing a pineapple. So the next thing for me to do is make a template of a pineapple. Not sure how big I'm going to do this. Maybe round to about there, around there. That would make a nice background, wouldn't it? Ooh, yeah, that would make a nice background actually for the pineapple. No, it's going to be a pineapple. So I'm going to sort pineapple shape. All I did was just for reference, have a look at the pineapple, just to get a reference. I should know what it looks like. I bought one this week. Could have bought that up from the fridge. Folded this paper in half, and then just freehand, just cut out a shape. Okay, and I've ended up with this shape, and that will do. I'm quite pleased with that shape. So that is the one I'm going to do. A pineapple here, and it's going diagonally, isn't it, that way? You see that? So I'm going to keep that shape along there, crossing down like that. Just keep that shape there. I hadn't thought of keeping that shape. I thought I'd keep it that way. But then looking at the picture, I thought, no, we'll keep them diagonally. So I've actually lightly penciled a line across there. You see that line that's going across there? What I'm going to do, now that's a diagonal, I'm going to match that line there with this one. So that line there will go on there, and that way I'll know. I might have to turn that round to fit that in. Yeah, there we go. And now I know that those shapes will be like the pineapple, diagonally. So diagonal, I mean. Now I'm going to pin this and then put running stitch or tacking stitch all the way around, just to let me know where the edge of the pineapple is, and then it will possibly be ready for hand sewing. And there we have it. Let's see what shape. Oh, it's always exciting, isn't it, when you don't know what you're going to get. Right, so yeah, it's not very clear, is it? It's not clear at all. So let me see if I can fold that round. So it will be a little bit like that. Let me get that straight for you. Anyway, now I'm going to have a think about how to treat each of these. At the moment, I'm thinking that I might do each one in a different way. Or I'm thinking that I might start with the outline first. I might do that in a running stitch or even chain stitch, and then think about doing each square. But looking at the screen at the moment, I love those little circles on there. And there's quite a few, so I'm finding those inspirational. So I might be led by those circles and maybe do some more circles and leave those that are already there. Yeah, there's an idea forming at the moment. I think I'm just going to have a little break and then I'm going to carry on because I'm feeling really motivated by those circles at the moment. And, well, as you can see now by looking at the screen, inspiration took over. And I've done the outline here in dark brown thread, 6 strands of dark brown thread, and I've taken the outline, the running stitch or the slow stitch, all the way round each of the little boxes you can see there. Now I have to explain first that I've covered that in toile net, just to sort of blend all the colours a little bit because it was very bright, and although I love bright colours, you can see that it's just muted them a tiny bit, but not too much. I do like this outline. I'm really pleased with that. I'm actually pleased with how it's looking. Sorry about the cuckoo clock. He loves to chime in, doesn't he? So it's taking on a real pineapple look now, and I'm finding it very exciting. I'll just fold that under a little bit. So yeah, I'm pleased with it, and I still like these circles, and I think I'm going to do some circles on these non-circle patterned ones, if that made sense. I'm going to leave these ones here with the circles already in place, and just spend a little bit of time now looking at it and deciding whether to use circles or not. Well, I went back to the pineapple, had a look at that for some inspiration. There's semicircles, half circles, and I thought, no, I don't want to do the half circles. So I looked at some photographs. This is of Monet's kitchen in France, and I like the way that they've been treated. And then I found this in the cathedral, another way of treating the little squares. So I couldn't make my mind up until I looked up and I saw this. And this is a photograph, once again, of the inside of the cathedral. And it's absolutely beautiful, and it's quite a way up. As you can imagine, the cathedral walls are very, very high. But I love the way that the circles have been formed. Like what have we got here? We've got 2 circles there on each square. And I have a feeling I'm going to try and not replicate, but be inspired by those circles. So, and I'm going to do them not round the pattern ones, as I've already explained, but on the squares in between. And look how beautiful they are. Absolutely wonderful. So here we are a couple of hours later. I've made a start. They're all stitches that we have used in the past, so there aren't any surprises. We have chains, single chains. We have pinwheels, blanket stitch, straight stitch, and I think that is about all. So as I said, no surprises, all easy to do, all stitches we've done before. Now I think I'm going to introduce some yellow. The green and the brown are to complement the background, so I think I might try a third colour now. Well, as you can see on the screen, not only have I added some more colours, I've added the sequins as well. And I think those of you who've been with me for a long time now won't be surprised at the amount of bling that I've thrown at this. And I've loved every single sequin I've put down. And I think it just lifts it a little bit and adds something. You can see I haven't quite finished adding the sequins. I just wanted to catch you up with as far as I have got at the moment. No secrets either to putting the sequins down. We've done that before. Just a single stitch, an over stitch to put them in place. So I think it's taking place. I'm going to carry on with this and get back to you
this.
later. I don't think there's very much more to see, actually. It's more time consuming than I thought it was going to be. I've added some applique here. This, you've seen these before. It's something like this, some lace, bits of lace, all scraps, bearing in mind this is all scraps again. And I cut some of these out. I've got one there. There's another one to go on somewhere. But they're bright. They were really white. So I've dyed that. And I've dyed another one in coffee. Just to take the brilliance away from it. I've added beads and sequins. You've seen the sequins. I've added more beads. I've added a long sequin there. And here, you can see that. I've had to get in a little bit of shisha. That isn't actually shisha, it's mock shisha with a large sequin. That's actually sequin and not glass, but the principle's the same, the stitches are the same, and I think that is as far as I've got. Oh, you can see here, I think that's where I was finishing. I finished off there. I've got to finish that off now. You can see just half a row, half a ring of sequins. So, yes, it is time consuming, this little bit. I was racing ahead. Doesn't take very long to get here. Now, I'm rushing around at the moment because I'm going on holiday to Spain in a couple of days' time. And I'm beginning to panic that I'm running out of time. I really want this out, published, before I go. What I have done actually, I've added more rows here of slow stitch. You can see here, if I hold that up, you can see yellow rows and orange ones going down. I like that effect as well. So while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about the leaves up here. I've got a couple of ideas with things that I've been inspired with. I think I'm going to use a little bit of artistic license on this. So watch this space. Okay. So hopefully next time you see this will be finished. I didn't explain. I'm not going to do all the squares, because if I do that, I'm going to cover up the patchwork. Already I said I'm not doing the round ones, which I haven't done, but also some of the plainer ones I'm going to leave, because if I cover up the patchwork there was no point doing it. So maybe a couple more and then I'm going to call that finished. Maybe do something with the outline, and then I'm going to have to think about what I'm doing with it. Am I going to applique it on something and then put the leaves on after? So there's still a couple of things that I need to think about, but as you know, this is a process, and it just sort of takes its own way. It's the idea, it's the growth of an idea, progression of an idea, and it just progresses from one step to another. And I think that's what makes our art really exciting, because we start off and we don't know where it's going, and that's how I feel at the moment, apart from the anxiety about having to hem some dresses, and I do dislike doing those little sort of jobs. But anyway, I'm wasting time now, so I'll get back to you when this is finished and I have an idea about it. Well, I managed to hem those dresses, and that took more time, I think, than doing this, but they're done now. I even had a bit more time to finish off this, so I'm calling this finished, apart from a little bit of cutting away I'm going to do, but I'm not adding any more beads or sequins. Just going to show you what I did, if I can remember. I've added some more what I'm calling shisha, although it isn't with glass mirrors, it's with sequins, but I think it actually gives basically the same feel, the same look, and unless you touch it you wouldn't really know that it isn't mirror. So here we are, got one down here off screen, another one over here off screen, one there. So I've got 4 new ones, and I've also introduced different colour. I've introduced a little bit of blue. Hold on, close your eyes. I'm just going to make this small. Yeah, I've also introduced a little bit of blue here and some pink around there. Excuse me. To blend in basically with the little bit of blue that is going on. I changed the sequins from silver to gold, so there's quite a bit of gold going on here now. And I've dotted just some single sequins. You can see that one there, there's another one there, and they just catch the light, and that's all that's needed. Here, a little bit going on. Oh yeah, well, if I move that, you can see. Oh, that's better, isn't it? That gives it a better idea of what's going on. So that is finished. I'm not going to add any more or fill in any more of these boxes, these little squares. I want to leave them like that now, so you're aware, or the viewers aware, that it is patchwork. You can see still see the joins. So we'll leave it like that. But what I do intend doing is just opening up some of these naked or unembellished boxes, just to expose the fabric behind. I'm curious now to see how these will look, and that's all I'm doing. Oh, did you see that, or did I cover that up? So with a sharp pair of scissors, I'm just cutting a little piece, the pieces of lace away, or the pieces of net. You see that little piece of net there? Just, yeah, it does make it. Oh yeah, it does. It does add a little bit of brightness there. Not going to do it to them all, but I will do it to some. Give it a little bit more of a lift. There. Now, does that make any difference? That one is without the net, and that one, basically the same pattern, is with the net. What do you think? Is it worth my while? You know what, I don't actually think it makes much difference. Let's have, just to balance it up now, so time to take off, let's try this one up here. This is a nice thing to do, just cutting the net off, making sure that you don't actually cut the stitching around the edge. There we go. Yeah, I think those ones work well when the lace is taken off. That one, those two with circles have worked really well. I think I'll take that one off as well. And that's another circle. Oh look, I'm getting brave now. That was one snip. Look there. There we go. Beginning to look really fussy, isn't it? I'll take one more off, and that will be enough. Here we go. Right, so there we are. Now what I'm going to do, I think, let's have a look at that. I'm going to take this off, not because I'm going to keep that, but I just want to see what difference this net really makes. So that's the net from there. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. So anyway, we can see now that the net does actually make a difference. You can take it off down around here. for no reason at all, because I'm going to cut this pineapple shape out. So there we are, back to the basic pineapple. And now I'm going to take my life in my own hands and just cut it out. Give it a small border all the way round. Now for this I want a pair of scissors that I actually feel in control of. Maybe these. Let's have a look. Yeah, right. So in with two feet. Now the fabric that I'm cutting off around the edge won't be wasted. I will actually save that and rejoin it, repurpose it for something else. Right, there we go. And that's exciting because look at what's left over from that. Whoa, yeah. Oh, and another piece on the floor. Now there we have the pineapple. These are all samples. I'm just trying these out just for effect really, and the green. Yeah, it's the backs I want. Right, these are from a sample book. Look at the back of that, isn't that glorious? Now I'm thinking of popping this on here for the background. Yeah, I think I'm just going to make that, lift that up a bit so you can see it a bit more. I think that might go nicely there. And we've got, what I didn't realise until I've looked up here, we have the same shape here in the background. You see these? The diamonds here in the background. Obviously I wouldn't want a lot of background, just that much. So we'd have the pineapple body there. And what I've done, I've taken the head off my pineapple. Well, actually my stepson's pineapple, because I did give it to him. When he goes for it later, he'll wonder what's going on and why his pineapple hasn't got any leaves. And I will just play around with these leaves. See if I can work these out. So I'm going to spend time now thinking about these leaves and how I'm going to use them. As you can see on the screen, the pineapple is in place, and all I've done is a little zigzag all the way around, very close zigzag. Now it looks very, very puffy, and that is because I placed it on another piece of one of those samples that I was given. And this might actually be the last one now. And it is lovely and springy. Even on the back it looks okay, doesn't it? But anyway, back to the front. So it's given this a nice spring. Obviously this will all be trimmed. It's only been tacked at the moment with a long sewing machine stitch. Now I'm going to concentrate on the leaves up here. Now I'll go back to this leaves, and I think I'm just going to do it as it is here, just spiky spikes, long spikes. I had thought that I might take a little bit of artistic license and do some curly ones and all sorts of things, but unfortunately I really haven't got the time to do that. Now I've got a nice pile of fabric here. They've all been ironed, nice interfacing on the back, various sizes from quite small, oops, this stuck together, from quite small to not large. I mean, it's still scraps, but a nice size. That is actually nice in itself, isn't it? Now I'm going to put these on one side and just start willy-nilly. I'm not going to do too much planning with this whatsoever, although I have noticed I've got areas of light and dark, or light and dark ones, so maybe I might use that, and then I might not. So I'm going to put those there, put that out of the way, and I've actually just taken off 4 of these leaves from a pineapple head. So I have a couple of long ones there, a medium one, and a shorter one. Now, when you're designing, the rules are really that you don't have mediocre. You don't have medium, you have the contrast, which is large and small. But looking at the pineapple itself, the leaves, they're all different sizes, from small through to medium to long. So I'm going to do it to please me. Okay, and we'll see what we get. Oh, I find a really nice crease there. I'm going to start with this one. And you can see I could not get that off. So I'll have to avoid that, the sample information there. And it is stuck down firm with some sort of glue that just won't shift. Now, it probably would be a lot easier to do these in card first, but I'm not going to. I am literally going to draw around these, see what happens. So we'll have a couple of these. Drawn around that 3 times. I'm anxious, I'm eager or excited to see how they look. So I'm going to cut 3 out. And here's the last one. Now these might come in useful as well for the shorter leaves, some shorter leaves. So look, they're perfect. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're 2 for short leaves. So let's sit that over there. Let's just turn them around. And here, haha, we have 3 long ones. Right, bring back the pineapple. And let's just quickly have a look. Move that down. And just see how we would place these. Now, it's just going to be stylised. It isn't going to be naturalistic or anything like that. Whoa, wow, they're long. Might have to shorten those. So... right. So this is going to be fun. Real fun. Placing some of these. Now, this is what I've come up with so far. All I've done is layer them and overlap those pieces that you saw me cut out. I don't want to move them because it's taking quite a bit of time to do this. I'm going to pin them in place, as you can see them there. I've got a little bit of a... I see it, move that one over. It's such a nice thing to do, and I tend to say that quite a lot when I'm doing this and I'm on the camera, but it's such a lovely thing to do, something you can really get absorbed in. I can hear things happening out in the road, the traffic, and people walking past, and at some point there was an accident just a couple of yards up the road. I don't know when, but I left this morning to go on my morning walk. The car totally smashed in. I hadn't told Glenn that yet, actually. Yeah, it was a bit of a shock, and I had no idea. So, sort of working here. I'm still in the bedroom. You know, nothing's changed there. We had a couple of gardeners out. Well, gardeners, I use that term loosely. For the first time ever, we paid them up front, and guess what? They did a runner. Not literally. They spent a day doing your work, and they worked so well. Glenn gave them their money, and they didn't come back. So, and we've had quite a lot of trouble with people coming out to do work for us. I think we must just look like a pair of old fools. I really do. Well, especially Glenn. And if he's watching this, sorry, love. But anyway, you live and learn, don't you? You live and learn. So I think this is basically in place. Well, it's going to be quite difficult. Excuse me. Machine sewing that. What I'm going to do now is just very carefully. Oh, dear me. That's all I need, cold, before we go away. I'm going to try and round this off. Oh, as best as I can, which means taking that out, really. Right, let's have a look. Round there. It doesn't have to be precise because I can disguise it if it goes awfully wrong. No, there. You know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me a bit of a Frida Kahlo project that we did. Oh gosh, that's going back now. Which is now hanging in yeah, that one is now hanging in a shop, a craft shop, being sold. Yeah, some of my work now has now gone to a craft shop, an art shop, to be sold. I didn't think I'd do that, but you can imagine over the years I've got lots and lots of stuff. Yeah, but it was really hard packing up this stuff. So anyway, there we are. Right, now I'm going to spend some time just machine sewing this. All these beautiful shapes. I'll trim that a little bit more. And then I'll sit back. I think I need something for my throat. Now sit back and have a look and decide where I'm going. If I'm actually going to make this up into something. I fancy doing a hanging now. Well, this is as far as I'm going now with this project. I've actually finished the pineapple. I'm not making it up into anything yet, but no doubt I might revisit it later. Now, what have I done? I have used a close together zigzag all the way around the leaves, creating some really lovely shapes here, and the colours I think are blending in lovely. And then with a straight stitch, I've just zigzagged the straight stitch, adding a few more points, a little bit more texture and a little bit more interest, a few more lines along there. Now, although I've done this with a sewing machine for quickness, you can actually do this all by hand. You don't have to do it this way. Now, maybe if I wasn't in such a rush, I might have done some of these, filled some of these gaps in by hand with a few hand stitches, because there's some really lovely, interesting shapes here, just crying out for a few stitches like this one here. But I think that'd be for another time. I don't normally carry a project over like this, but I will do this time. I need to do that this time. Now this will be made smaller, so there won't be too much background showing. So it will actually be somehow like that. Now I'm just going to see if I can move the camera down. I don't know, I'll make it a bit bigger, and I'll just start from there, and I'll pull the work up very, very carefully. And you can see now I've enlarged it slightly. You can probably see some of these lovely shapes better. So up we go. It's quite humongous. It's a really big size. And just for a little bit of balance with all the leafy green at the top, I've added just a little strip there. Now, that could be surface, it could be a tabletop, it could be a leaf that's fallen off. It could be whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to make that smaller again, and hopefully you can see the whole lot. Oh, I'll get my nail varnish there. And there you go. my version of a pineapple. I've asked my stepson, does it look like a pineapple? And he said no. But then, you have to remember, I did take the leaves off his pineapple in the fridge. So maybe that's why he said no. He said it with a smile, so I think he was joking. I hope so. So that is the end of this project. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed some of these techniques, the overlapping and the shapes. I just love doing this to produce shapes. I could do this sort of non-stop. Forget the pineapple. Just do all this in shapes. Hey, maybe I will do. But thank you for getting this far, if you have. I hope you're all well, keeping well, and you're all safe, okay? So I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, now, just take care and keep safe. Bye-bye.